Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today we have a review on the J8A biplane. J8A, not a JAA. It sounds like I'm saying like what's nearly my initials if you was to take my middle name into account. Anyway, so today we are obviously going to be reviewing the J8A, and obviously the J6B will be probably 2 days from now. The way I'm going to be doing this is a bit different to how you would expect Spade reviews. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing one day where it's just a normal video like a Talisman Series flight, um, a Premium Series flight or something like that. Just one per normal day. And then for Spade reviews, you're going to be getting two a day. Now I know that seems a bit heavy, but trust me, you ought to see my hard drive. Um, Obviously, with me having Sweden and a load of old Spade reviews to get through, I kind of need to start clearing out the backlog. So you're gonna get a Sweden one in the morning and a old one in the afternoon. Most likely will be German or Russian or something like that. There are a couple of other stuff that I've been working on, things like that. So obviously today we're starting out with the J8A, which is essentially a Swedish Gladiator. Now, there is a couple of differences that I've noticed. Obviously, the machine guns are different. They are 8mm KSP M22s. They're actually quite nice. And this only has a two-bladed prop. Now, I don't know if that makes a difference in War Thunder. It didn't really, well, in fact, it did feel like it, I should say. Um, and for the most part, this Gladiator did not fly how a Gladiator should. I know that sounds hard to believe, but this thing felt far less maneuverable than what it should be. It felt like it really wallowed about the sky a bit, and it just did not feel nice to fly. I don't know if that's just me being paranoid or being like, this doesn't feel right, or just because I didn't have all the mods on it, but it didn't feel right. So obviously, as you can see down here, we have other aircraft like the J6B, the B3C, B17B, and the J11. I'm going to be doing them in BR order as I always do. The J6B, I actually got a talisman on it for free on the first day of Sweden coming out, so that's always nice. So let's briefly go over the stats before we get into the battle. J8A is here, 3 air kills, no deaths, 15 ground targets. It was a one and done. Now I'll point out why there's a death and only a 50% win rate on the J6B when we get around to it, but oops, I'm not buying no premium. But yeah, these Swedish reserves, they're not the best, but they get the job done. Let's just say that. So, this is where I started to laugh when I first saw the Swedish tech tree. So the default runs are Tracer, Armor Piercing, Tracer, Armor Piercing. They're pretty sufficient. They do the job. You've then got obviously Omnipurpose, which is universal, as T, API, or AP, and an I, very similar to a Browning 30 cal on a P shooter. You've then got Tracer, Armor Piercing, Tracer, Tracer, etc., etc. It's when you get to armored targets, and yeah, it does actually work. They do pen 23mm. I've been able to pen the roof of a T-34 with these in the test flight. Now, I have no idea if this is a bug. It is highly likely since they are normal armor-piercing rounds and should only have about 12 to 13mm of penetration, not 23. But hopefully this will get patched. I mean, if there is a high-velocity armor-piercing round for an 8mm machine gun, that would probably make sense, but for the meantime, I don't see how this works. So obviously, you get the plane basically half spaded when you get it. I believe the mods that are missing are the engine, the cover, the new 8mm in the offensive 8mm, the radiator, and I think the cover was missing. It was a one and done game, so it was nice and quick, but at the same time, I'm not going to go back through the extensive Spade logs. But yeah, this was an alright plane to Spade. It's a good start to the Swedish tech tree. The J6B, I would arguably say, is actually better, but not for speed. The J6B is rather slow. But that's really its only problem. And I can only apologize for my voice. That is, well, you'll see that on the G56 review, which will probably come after this one. It depends on which one I want to get out first, because, well, I have about nearly 20 now, just sat in my hard drive. I'll show you my progress through the Swedish tech tree at some point as well. So obviously this is my first game in Sweden. I'd been waiting 40 minutes for a battle. and this is the very first game I got. Excuse me. So, this was a sufficient start, and I don't know why markers are off. There we go. But this was a sufficient start to the Swedish tech tree. Obviously, they did use Gladiators. I don't remember how many they had, but they had quite a few from what I've been able to find. The only aircraft that's really missing of note from the Swedish tech tree that I can think of off the top of my head is the Seversky P-35, but to be honest, they'll probably add that later. And also, Jacoby's J8A is the premium, and that is currently not in. That will most likely be the Christmas gift that they give out for, shall we say, just like a free, hey, it's Christmas, win one battle and you get this plane, etc. So yeah, this is how slow the Gladiator actually is on takeoff. As I said though, I got it done in one game because I had a 50% RP booster running. Did for most of the spades that I've done. I also had a 10% which helped as well. And well, I'm not going to make you sit through what felt like 20 minutes of bloody climbing, but you can just see how slow this thing is at 4 times speed climbing. And I even put in chat at the start, forgot how slow these Gladiators are, and they are slow. These things are slow. So my first engagement is this P-36. I was thinking of going for something else, but then obviously I saw this guy and I thought, yeah, I'll have a crack at him. I can take on a Hawk. I'm reasonably confident. And this is where I start feeling the spongy handling, shall we say. Now don't get me wrong, it turns like a normal Gladi. But, excuse me. It just felt like it was wallowing about a bit. You can see what I mean by the maneuvers. I think personally I've had a play with the Gladiator's flight model as a whole. There's my first kill in this aircraft. And to be honest, it was not a great handling experience. So currently what's just happened, you may have seen that what the fuck in chat. X-CJAR has just shot down a friendly for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, it was a deliberate attack. We don't know why it happened, but he puts in chat, sorry, and yeah, it was a deliberate attack. I've noticed a lot of players like that grinding Sweden. You'll see that as well in the J8A review. Because I'm going to do them both separately because I can. Excuse me. Terribly sorry. Where's my throat spray? There it is. I've got this sort of like throat spray. It goes like you put the nozzle right to the near the back of your throat, and well, because I've got a big gob, I can do that. But then you press it twice, and it's really nice. And it's also got a cherry flavour to it. That's better. Right, that should help my throat a bit, hopefully. Because I've got quite a few to get through today, because, well, I don't want Gaijin killing off my replays and stuff like that. So the teams at this point are pretty evenly matched. Obviously, we've got 4 fighters remaining. BR693 has just been damaged. That enemy biplane has just been shot down by Saffron Venom. You're going to be seeing him later. He's actually a pretty good teammate. However, on the enemy team, and I can feel another cough coming, on the enemy team there is what can only be described as a honey badger, the Sunderland Mark V, and I knew immediately that that was going to be a problem. Excuse me. I'm going to move my mic away so I don't deafen you guys with my coughing. 1 second. There we go. That's that problem fixed. But, like I say, this throat has been bad for a couple of days now. I'll be fine. It's just, I don't want to deafen you guys with my fripping coughing. So at this point, obviously me, Saffron Venom, and the 2 remaining J8As, we're currently, well, 2 of them, I think 2 of them are going back to base. Well, no, 1 of them's going back to base, and the other 2 are coming towards me to give me a hand. Now I realised at this point, obviously, I built up a bit of speed, and I thought, well, logic would decree this guy's probably going to try and have a crack at me, so I might want to gain some altitude so I can at least burn off some energy, but have enough just in case he tries a vertical maneuver. Which, I don't get what this guy was doing. I think he was trying one of my defensive maneuvers, which is go right, go left, go right, go left, but it didn't really work out for him. I score a crit there. I think I got the engine. And, well, vertical maneuver, there's nothing he can do. And any second now, obviously, you can see what I mean by the spongy handling, and I do apologise for all the flak, because, well, that's flak for you. The pilot actually bailed out to, obviously, he knew he was done for. He didn't want to get all Saffron to get the kill, I guess. So that's my second kill of this game. And there is the Honey Badger, the Sunderland, and he was playing a bit fighter-like, but to be honest, I've seen that many players playing Sunderland like that, and even I do it. I know what it can do, so I'm trying to avoid it as best as possible. So now at this point I decide, right, well, I don't really need to go in and engage the Sunderland because that would be a death sentence. I'll go for some ground targets. So obviously, having common sense, I decided to target the j8A first, and again, the spongy handling. Don't know what it is about this bird, but it does not fly like a Gladi, like how I remember a Gladi flying. It just doesn't feel like one. Don't get me wrong, the ground targets can easily die to the 8 mils, but excuse me, it's just I don't like the way this thing flies at all. So Saffron's been hit by the j8A at this point, and obviously he's returned to base, and it's just me with the Sunderland. Hooray! But luckily he doesn't seem to be taking any notice of me. I think he's engaging a fighter at this point. The j8A guns are too busy focused on said fighter. Yes, he's engaging a fighter. So I decided to take this opportunity and hit some ground targets. I've still got plenty of ammo. You get 2,000 rounds. It's plenty sufficient. But like I say, this thing does not fly like a Gladi. If you're going to fly one of the reserves, go with a J6B, is all I'll say. This thing doesn't feel that great, personally. It's got good speed, but that's really all it's got behind it. So now, obviously, we're going to return to base, and, well, it's a Gladiator, so it's going to be rather slow, so I won't make you sit through it. I'm not that horrible. I mean, I could, but then I'd be an arsehole, and I don't want to be an arsehole. I'll be an arsehole if I'm on a rant or taking the piss out of players. So once again, we're underway. Obviously that poor J6B has been gangbanged by 2 J8As. The J8A, obviously, it can hold its own in a dogfight, but the J6B can as well. So at this point, I decided to come back and go for some more ground targets. I only end up getting, I think it's 2 more. Because there's not many left, to be brutally honest. And, well, they're both j8A guns, so I kind of need to deal with those. And it's at this point that this BR-20DR poses a threat to us. Now, the flying shed is not that much of a problem, but still needs to go. I swear I need a really big cough at the end of this recording. I can only apologise, but honestly, try having a dry throat for multiple days thanks to your auntie for giving it you. And that right there was my 3rd and final kill of this battle, and the 3rd and final kill of this aircraft in total. But yeah, I really think they've had a play with the flight model of the Gladiators as a whole. I'm not sure if it's standard 2-bladed prop, it probably is. But, nah, this thing don't feel like a Gladi. At this point though, the Sunderland, this is the final funny part I'm going to show you. Hairy feet, just watch this mate, what this guy does. And he comes right at me and I'm thinking, oh shit. So I thought, I'll dodge his defensive fire. Scored a good hit into his wing, I blew off a flap. and I just decided to nope the fuck out of there. I did actually jam a gun, so I was at this point testing my guns. It turns out it's the right one on the engine cowling is the one I jammed. So I've jammed a gun basically, but even so, that's pretty much the end of the battle at this point. The Sunderland crash lands, but we do win via base bombing thanks to that H8K pilot, or sorry, H6K pilot. So like I say, it's a decent start to the tech tree, but at the same time, it does not fly like a Gladi should. I'm not sure if it's down to the two-bladed prop. We'll have to see. Like I say, over the next few recordings, you will see, like, on the Swedish ones, you'll see coughing. On the other ones, you won't, so I can only apologise. But, hey-ho. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the J8A, and I will catch you all on the next one, which will be the J6B. See you all later.